A seemingly minor disagreement between a flight attendant and a passenger spirals into a financial nightmare. When a flight attendant rudely demanded that a woman move her bag, little did she know that this would set off a chain of events that would freeze a $3.2 billion airline stock. The stock market was chaotic in the hours following the incident, and financial analysts and airline executives were left scrambling for answers. What caused the sudden freeze, and who was behind it? Olivia Harris was not your typical businesswoman. As a senior executive at an influential investment firm, she'd built her career on calculated decisions and precise strategies. However, as she boarded Flight 473 from New York to Los Angeles, she was looking for nothing more than some rest. She had just completed a high-profile deal to give her firm an edge in the competitive market, but was exhausted. Seated by the window, Olivia began to settle in. But just as the plane started taxiing, a flight attendant named Kayla approached her. "Excuse me, ma'am," she said with a stern look. "I need you to store your bag in the overhead compartment." Olivia glanced at the small carry-on under her seat, barely holding back her frustration. "It's fine here, thank you," she replied politely. Kayla's gaze hardened. "I'm sorry, but you need to follow the rules and put it overhead," she insisted, her voice tinged with irritation. "I've been on hundreds of flights, and my bag is perfectly fine here," Olivia replied, keeping her tone calm but firm. "Wait a second, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this." The flight attendant wasn't interested in negotiating. "I'll report you if you don't comply," she snapped, raising her voice. Olivia's heart sank, a deep sense of humiliation flooding her chest. This wasn't how she handled things, especially not with someone in a service position. She reluctantly stood up to move her bag, but the damage was already done. Her mind was racing, filled with a new sense of anger and determination. She reached for her phone. The plane ascended into the night sky, but Olivia's thoughts were far from the peaceful flight she had hoped for. She didn't let things like this slide. Olivia pulled out her phone while the other passengers settled into their routines. She dialed a number, one that only a few people in the world would recognize. "Olivia," a calm voice answered on the other end. "What's going on?" She didn't hesitate. "I need you to freeze the stock of an airline, right now." There was a slight pause. "Are you sure? You know what this means." "I'm sure," Olivia replied. "It's time they learned there are consequences to disrespect." "Freeze it! Now!" The voice on the other end didn't argue. "Consider it done." Olivia ended the call and leaned back in her seat, her fingers tight around the edges of her phone. The rush of power coursed through her. She knew the man on the other end of the line had the resources to make it happen. And he would. The airline would feel the repercussions soon enough. Meanwhile, back in the world of high finance, the stock markets had begun to feel the first tremors. At first, it was a slight dip, an unusual blip on the charts. But then, the downward trajectory turned into a full-scale collapse. The airline's stock plunged dramatically in minutes, freezing at an unsettling $3.2 billion market valuation. Brokers and analysts watched in disbelief, unable to explain the anomaly. As the plane descended into Los Angeles, Olivia checked her phone. Messages flooded in. Her colleagues in finance were trying to make sense of the situation. "Do you know why the TI Airlines stock froze?" one text read. "What's going on with their trading?" She didn't answer. Instead, Olivia silently processed the events. The stock freeze wasn't just about a flight attendant's rudeness. It was a move, a message. She had strategically planned this moment, knowing the chaos it would cause in the Yoidri markets. The question now wasn't just what had caused it, but what would happen next. Back on the ground, Wall Street was in full panic mode. News outlets reported that the airline's stock had halted, and traders were frantically searching for answers. The airline's executives, who had once basked in the success of their consistently rising stock prices, were now scrambling to figure out the root cause of the financial upheaval. Speculation swirled. Was it a technical glitch? A system error? Or was there a deeper story behind the freeze? As the hours passed, the SEC began investigating the cause of the halt. No one seemed to have an answer, and rumors of foul play began to surface. The airline was facing its worst crisis in years. In the background, Olivia Harris remained shadowy. No one knew she was behind it. Still, her name was on everyone's lips. The next day, the airline's stock slowly recovered, but the damage was done. The SEC's investigation remained open, and while they had yet to uncover any definitive cause for the freeze, it had become clear that something or someone had deliberately caused the disturbance. In boardrooms and investor meetings, Olivia's name began to circulate. No one knew exactly how she had orchestrated the freeze, but those in the know understood her power. Financial circles watched her more closely than ever before. A single phone call, a mere moment of decision, had turned the world's attention. To her, Kayla, the flight attendant, continued her shifts, oblivious to the consequences of her actions. She had no idea that her harsh words had set off a chain reaction that shook the foundations of a multi-billion-dollar airline. For Olivia, the message had been loud and clear. In a world dominated by corporate power and financial markets, even the most minor slight could send shockwaves. The world would now watch her every move. The airline would never forget the day its stock froze, and neither would anyone who had witnessed Olivia Harris's quiet display of control. What had started as an insignificant argument in the air became a powerful reminder of the delicate balance of power and consequence. If you enjoyed this story and thought it was provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Take care.